Okay, for our close reading today, we're going to read a fiction story rather than the last two this week were both nonfictions. They were true things, but it kind of ties into the kind of theme of these readings we've done. So first we had the mammoth. We uncovered those fossils, something to study about the past. Yesterday we read about seeing into the past, about using different tools to find things under the ground that is from the past, like our mummy there. And then today, share my screen, we have one called Returning the Artifacts. So this is fiction. It talks about aliens, and there's some, obviously not true stuff, but it kind of will make us think a little bit about kind of the way that we preserve and keep things from the past, and what if people from the past or people from the civilizations that we took these things from had a say in what to do with them. Because yes, of course, we want to see them and we want to learn about them, but if those people were still around, what would they rather do with them? Okay, so there's some crazy names. I will probably even say them wrong, so don't worry about pronouncing those out loud. We're going to read it together like the last two, and then I'll tell you which questions to work on. So follow along with this. I will kind of explain things because some things are a little confusing in this if you just read it on your own. All right. Some say the vote was surprising. After all, far more people on the Intergalactic Cultural Artifacts Council grew up studying a more Lorentzian version of history in their school books. For that matter, far more of them studied with people from Laurentia than from the far-flung planet Coles. People from Laurentia value scholarship. So the two main groups of people are from these different planets. So intergalactic means across different planets. So there's people from all different planets on this council, and they're going to vote on something. So we have the Coles people and then the Laurentia people. It's harder to say what the Coelzi, see, I don't even know, value. So they're saying the Laurentia value scholarship. Scholarship is like knowledge and learning. But they're saying it's harder to say what these people value. They associate little with people from other planets and seem to prefer it that way. So in this world, intergalactic world, people from different planets can communicate and they can go from planet to planet and do things with each other. But the Coelzi seem to not like to mix or meet with other people from other planets. For a time, of course, they were subjects at best of Laurentia. If not for those few 7 centuries, no one beyond Coles might ever have known what treasures were hidden there. So they were subjects of Laurentia. So that means that the people of Laurentia kind of had some ownership over the Coelzi people for 7 centuries. It says a few centuries, but that's kind of a long time. That's 70 years. So if it weren't for this time, they wouldn't know what was hidden there. Let's see what was hidden. The artifacts in question are renowned for their beauty. So this is an example of one of the artifacts. They're stunning, but they stand in such marked contrast to anything that modern Coles civilization has produced that some scholars argue alien life must have visited Coles at some earlier point in time. This proof, they say, is what makes the artifacts truly invaluable. So these artifacts, like this looks kind of similar to the stuff we were just talking about. So think about what might actually be inside here, are from the Coles, very old civilization. So from a long, long time ago, from these people, the Coles people. But it is now in possession of the Laurentia people. They have these artifacts because they're beautiful. Now it said they stand in such marked contrast to anything that modern Coles civilization has produced. So these artifacts from past cults civilization are much, much more beautiful than anything that they produce today. So people think that aliens must have gone to the past and helped create these, because how could someone from a long, long time ago create something this beautiful? And that's even something that people say today about ancient Egypt. How did they make the pyramids? How did they make these beautiful things if there was a less intelligent civilization, because it was so long ago? We don't know. But just because it was from a long, long time ago, we can't just assume that it was less intelligent. Just because we don't know how they did it without big machines that we have today, doesn't mean that they weren't capable of something like that. So the Laurentia people are saying that these are invaluable. Now, even if the artifacts did come from the ancient Queltzi, surely the modern day Queltzi would not appreciate them if they were returned. So the Laurentia people are trying to argue that these can't even be from ancient Queltzi because they're so beautiful. But even if they did, the modern day Queltzi wouldn't appreciate them. They wouldn't appreciate their beauty if they did give them back to these people. This, at least, has long been the argument of Laurentia, with its gorgeous intergalactic museum and council taxes that pay for admission. Anyone can visit, even Queltzi, though as far as any logs show, none ever has. So these Laurentia people have this beautiful museum that anyone in the galaxy can come and visit. But they're saying, well, the Queltzi don't even come visit it now, so why should we give it back to them? Now, everyone knew that if the artifacts were returned to Queltz, no one from the council or from anywhere would ever see them again. So if these people get back their artifacts that do belong to them, no one's going to get to see them again, because remember, the Queltzi people don't like to mix with the other planets. It was not simply that the Queltzi had no museums, no way to display the artifacts in a public fashion. No. That very morning, now, there's more to it. It's not just that they don't have museums, that they don't like other people, but let's find out. That very morning, the Queltzi representative had told the council in her stunted accent of their future plans for the magnificent artifacts, to burn them. So she's saying, these artifacts belong to us, we want them back, and our plan is to burn them. I want you guys to think, maybe you can write down an answer, we'll see if anyone had the right guess before we read on. Why would these people want to burn them? I want you to just think and take a guess, and then we're going to find out, or we're going to discuss it on this video and later in class. But why would they want to burn these? Do you think they hate them? They think they're ugly, they want to get rid of them? What do you think? Okay, let's keep reading. Audible gasps, that means out loud people gasped, had filled the large room. So why did a majority vote to return the artifacts to Queltz? So it's telling us now that in the end, the majority, most people voted to return the artifacts. So why do you think they decided to give them back? They were just going to burn them. There must be some good reason why they want to burn them. Let's find out now. That evening, once the announcement had begun to sink in, the representative from the Delphi provinces spoke up first. It is not for us to decide who appreciates them most or how, not if they don't belong to us. So someone from the Delphi provinces, another planet or area, saying, even though we really want to appreciate this and see the beauty, they're not ours. So it's not up to us to decide. The Laurentian representative ground through his teeth when he's going like this. This was just the sort of bleeding heart logic that most irritated him. Bleeding heart logic. That means when you feel with your heart and your emotions get involved, and that kind of affects your decision. We are not arguing who will most appreciate them. We are merely trying to save them. So he does not want them to go and he does not want them to burn. But they are our people, the Kowalski representative said simply. They are our people. What do we think that means? Look back at the picture, think about our reading from Tuesday and what was inside the tomb. They are our people. So we can kind of put two and two together. This looks very similar to the ancient Egyptian tombs. Inside are the actual mummies, the bodies that were mummified. So their people, the Kowalski people, are actually inside of those. So why might they want to burn them? There's lots of different rituals that are held for different groups of people and different reasons when someone dies. Now, they're saying they are our people, so why might they want to burn them? The Laurentian shook his head at that. Not much left inside, he countered. Just dust, really. We can give that to you if you like and keep the receptacles. So he's still arguing. He's saying, well, there's not much inside anyway. You can have the inside, we'll keep the beautiful outside. Slowly, the Kowalski turned her head and looked down the long table until she found his face. She's looking him in the eyes now. It is all our people, she said. All must burn. Then she looked around the table at all the faces, some pained, some disdainful. Perhaps she realized that here, so far from home, she must say something more. So these people aren't quite getting it. They don't understand. Why do you want to burn this? It is our creed to burn it all, she said. Only then is the Kowalski life correct. It is liberty. The human representative, so there's even people from Earth, the human representative nodded slowly. Freedom, he said gravely. Emancipation. So it's the culture of these Kowalski people. They put their ancestors in these tombs, whatever you want to call them. But later on, it says it is our creed. It's something they have to do to burn everything. And then those people are free. Okay? So it's just part of their culture, their beliefs, that they must burn this. And finally, sorry, I'll go back, the human representative was starting to understand freedom. The Laurentian barely suppressed a snort, so they're still not buying it. He was thinking, no doubt, how the humans are always speaking of freedom. But one glance at human history books speaks of other priorities. So they're saying how humans always speak of freedom, but if we look at human history, if we just know now, there's been lots of times when not all humans were free. We've had slavery, we've had really bad things happen. So he's kind of like, okay, humans, whatever you said. But after the council vote, the Laurentian representative shook his head. Another death knell for civilization, he muttered and fled the room. So the Laurentian lost the vote. Like it said before, the majority of people voted to return them. The Kowalski representative waited until she was alone, then raised her eyes to the room's tall windows. Night had fallen beyond them, and when she spoke again, it was the night she seemed to address. Emancipation, she repeated softly, soon. So she finally gets to take her ancestors and all of their artifacts back to her planet, and then they're going to do some sort of ritual to burn them, and then those people will be free. All right, let's take a look at our questions. Once again, you're not going to have to answer all of them, so hang in there, and I'll tell you which ones you need to do. So what did the Intergalactic Cultural Artifacts Council vote on, and what was the outcome? Yes, this one can be found in the text. Another one, what details are included about the artifacts in the passage? What do they tell us about the artifacts? Number 3 can also be found right in there. What will the Kowalski people do with the artifacts if they are returned to Queltz? What's their plan? Number 4, yeah, let's talk about that. What does the author include, why does the author include the detail? Audible gasps had filled the large room. And how does this connect with the illustration on page 2? So I explained what audible would be. Let me flip back to that page. Like this. And how does that tie into this picture? So look at this picture and think about that term, audible gasps. How does that explain the looks on their faces here? Okay, so answer that one. We don't need to do number 5. Not number 6. So far 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to clear. Oh. Scroll down. I do want you to do number 7. Why did the majority of the Intergalactic Cultural Artifacts Council, that's mouthful, vote to return the artifacts? So why did most people, the majority, vote to give them back? It doesn't tell us exactly, but it talks about the humans' ideas. What kind of changed their way of thinking in order to make them vote that? And what can readers infer about the decision? Let's not focus on that. I just want you to answer that first part of number 7. And that's it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. 5 questions there. Okay, you can re-listen if you need to. You can just read on your own to find the rest of those answers, and then you can head to the next recording.